What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be covering for you the basics of how to make money. Now, I think a lot of people get confused and they have a lot of ideas about how to make money which are either incorrect or or sort of, get rich quick schemes, or they're basically not going to get you to where you would like to be. Okay, so what I would like to do for you guys is basically lay out the actual way of how to make money. Okay, that is not a scam or scheme, or it's not a promise that you're going to become a millionaire. It's not like something where you have to pay me for a course or something. But it's the way that 99% of people make money. Okay, it's the way that money making actually works. Now, the first thing that I'll say to you is the first thing that I'll say to you, okay, is we need to understand, what does it mean to be rich? What does it mean to be rich? What does it mean to be rich? This is important, okay, because the way that a lot of people get scammed and they get tricked into giving up their own money to someone that promises them that they're going to get rich or whatever is because they have the wrong idea of what does it mean to be rich. Okay. In simple terms, obviously the first thing is to be rich means two things. To be rich equals to be a good person. That's fundamentally what it means to be rich. And to be content. That's richness. Okay, fundamentally. But what does it mean in terms of, and this is obviously incredibly important, okay, because if you're thinking purely monetarily, meaning in terms of numbers, then what it means is you will never have enough, okay? If you think purely in terms of numbers like millions or billions or whatever, means you will never feel like you have enough. And then you will always feel poor. This is the danger, okay, which you don't want to fall into. If you want to get to the point where you actually have money and you can enjoy it and enjoy your life and you feel generally happy with your life and generally happy with the money that you have, you cannot think in terms of like a number. Why? If you take, say, for example, the average person makes anywhere from around 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 a month. Okay, depending. Some people make less, some people make more. This is like the normal person. Okay. Now, if you ask this person and say they think in terms of numbers, there's this person over here, they make 5 to 10K a month. Okay. Are they rich? They will obviously say yes. Yeah. They will obviously say yes. Um, so let's say 10K a month. If we think in terms of numbers, 10K a month. This is rich. This is rich, right? If you ask the person, excuse me, like I said, who's making 1 or 2K a month, yeah, are they rich? They will say yes, they're rich, very rich. I wish that I could be them. Okay. Now, what if you asked, say, a person that makes 50K a month? Yeah. So this one is like a person making 100,000 or 120,000 a year. This one is making like 600,000 a year, something like that. Okay, almost, or like almost a million a year, something like that. Yeah. Or maybe I'll even make it simpler for you. I'll say 100,000 a month. Okay, this is like a millionaire, 1.2 million a year. Okay. So you ask this millionaire, this 1.2 million a year person, 100K a month person. That guy there, he makes 10K a month. Is he rich? You probably say, no, he's not rich. He's poor, yeah. He's he's doing okay, yeah, but he's not rich. I'm rich. Huh? So now to the 100k a month guy, yeah, to the 100k a month guy, this is rich. 10k goes poor. You see? You see? 10k a month now is poor. And now if we ask the person, okay, that makes a million a month. Same question. We ask the same question. The guy who makes 100k a month, is he rich? He'd be like, are you crazy? No, obviously not. He's poor. Huh? I'm rich. Yeah. A million, 100k a month, sorry. 100k poor. You see? And we could go on and on and on and on just like this. We could go on and on just like this. So the question is, who's right? Hmm? Who's right? Like we could go on and on all the way up until billion a month, 10 billion a month, 100 billion a month. We can keep going, yeah. We can keep going. And eventually, now with the AI and stuff, some people are going to be, we're going to have our first trillionaires eventually. It'll get to that point. And so to them, if they're just going purely monetarily, a billionaire will be poor to them. You see, so the question is, who's right? Obviously, the answer is no one. No one. They're all wrong, right? They're all wrong. And this is the problem, okay, when you think purely in terms of numbers. Okay, you end up in this infinite loop, which you can't escape. This is why people get depressed, even though they're rich. Yeah. This is why people get depressed, even though that they have money. That's why. Okay, now the real answer to this, okay, is how much in terms of monetary, so money amount, like numbers, how much is actually rich? The answer is real simple. It's just enough to pay your bills, plus a little to save, plus a little to invest. That's it. That's the answer. Okay, if you have this, you are rich. Even if you don't have these two, if you have this, you are rich. Let me even take away the other two. Okay, if you have this, you are rich. If you have that, you're rich. Why? Because if you can pay your bills, okay, now it means you have food to eat, you have shelter, you have water to drink, you know, you can clothe yourself, you're not gonna get kicked out of your house. You're good. Okay, so you're just like the guy who has a million or the guy who has a billion. You're the same. Yes. Horace in his satires, I translated his satires recently. Excuse me. Horace is the great Roman poet. He was friend to Virgil, the writer of the Aeneid. Horace was a satirical poet. He made fun of a lot of things to to share truth. Anyway, so Horace in his satires, he says, what difference does it make if I drink my water from a cup and you drink yours from a river? We both drink the same amount. You see, if I eat my food out of a small bowl and you eat your food out of a massive gold tray, it's the same. We eat the same amount. We only have the same stomach. Yeah. So the idea, okay, is it's not about the amount. The idea is, can you pay your bills? That's the question. And if you can pay your bills, then you're good. Yeah, that's the point. Okay. Anything more than this is like extra. Yeah, that's like extra. So you should be just aim to pay your bills. That's the first thing. If you can do that, then you are rich. You're doing good. Okay, and for the average person, I'm just gonna say in the UK, I'm just gonna say in the UK, yeah, for the average person, around 2k a month is enough. Excuse me, around 2k a month is more than enough to pay your bills for the average person. And the reason that this could not be enough is if, for example, you have really bad spending habits. Okay, you buy things that you don't need. Like you buy a lot of phones or electronics, or you spend money on holidays and things. Then obviously this is not going to be enough. Okay, but that's you making yourself suffer for no reason. Okay, because you're addicted to material stuff. So being rich and making money doesn't have anything to do with material, like consumerism. Yeah. You don't need all these extra things. You want them, you don't need them. There's a difference. Okay? So if you can be disciplined in terms of your wants, yeah, and you can enjoy the free things or the things which are not expensive, which are the best things in life anyway, okay? Or you can be intelligent, save from your money and then take one trip rather than taking multiple. Now you can enjoy a very relaxed, happy life where you can be content and grateful. Yes. Rather than wasting your money on material stuff, new car, new phone, new watch, new clothes, etc. That's a waste. Yes. So, so rich means can you pay your bills? That's rich. Okay, if you can pay your bills, then congratulations, you have enough. All right. And even statistically speaking, now if you take the global numbers, someone who makes 100K a year is in the top 10%, excuse me, of the entire planet. If you make 100K a year, you are in the top 10% of the planet. Okay, planet means out of 8 billion people, you are in the top 10% from 100K a year. Okay, if you make 60K a year, you're still in the top 20, 30% something. Okay, just by virtue of the fact that you're living in the UK or America or wherever else, you're already in the top 50%. Okay, you're already pretty rich. Okay, so anyway, this should be your target. Okay, and having this as your target, while also doing this, trying to be a good person, trying to be content, this will make you feel so much better. Okay, and it will help you to actually have the motivation to do the other stuff to actually make the money. Okay, if your target is to be multi-millionaires, then you can take a private jet here and there. You're just gonna be depressed. Okay, or you're gonna become a criminal, most likely, one of the two. As you see, many people who do this private jet kind of lifestyle, this and that, they do it through crime, pretty much. Yeah. So, and that's not acceptable yet, to sell your soul for money. You become like a prostitute. Excuse me for using this bad word. Yeah, I don't usually like to use certain words, but in certain cases it's needed. Don't turn yourself into a prostitute. Okay. And I mean that literally, but also spiritually. Okay. In terms of doing a bad thing because it brings you a lot of money. Yeah, don't do it. Okay. You will destroy yourself. You'll hate yourself. People will dislike you, etc. It's not worth it. Mm? So now to the actual question. Okay, the actual question, which is, okay, so how do you actually make money? That's the question. How do you actually make money? Excuse me. So the way that you actually make money, okay, is in two ways. Okay, there are basically two ways that you can make money. Okay, and I'm gonna explain to you both of them. So there are two ways that you can make money. Okay. Now the first one is to get a job. This is the first way to make money, to get a job. Get a job. Now, unfortunately, in our culture, some people have, spoken badly about getting a job, and they have, talked about it. If you have a job, you're a loser and this and that. And very often you should know that these people are the children of very rich parents. Okay, these people are like trust fund babies, the ones that talk like this. Okay, they've never had They've never suffered any poverty or anything like that in their life at all. Okay, that's a lot of these people. Okay, so for them, having a job is never something that they had to consider because mom and dad have a lot of money. Yeah. So they're role playing some struggle, something that they've never experienced. Okay, they don't know what it's like to wash up using a bucket or to have cold water because your hot water turns off, or you can't afford your electricity bill, or you're eating cereal for dinner, or you stay hungry and chew gum because you didn't get any lunch money. Yeah, because your dad just lost his job. They don't know what that's like. So don't listen to these people. Okay, don't listen to these people. So number one, okay, this is probably for 90% of you. This is what I would recommend. This is the best thing that you can do. The very best thing that you can do is to get a job. Okay. 90% of you should do this. And I'll deal with the other 10% in just a second. So you should get a job. Okay. And the way that you do this is you need a couple of things to do this. Okay. You need job skills, you need experience, and you need willingness to work very hard. If you have these three, you will be able to get a job. Okay. Uh, Another thing, uh, humbleness. Let me see. Should I put this? Okay, I'll give you some more willingness to learn and no arrogance. I'll put it that way. I don't know what a good word is for like um being humble. Yeah, I don't know what the good word is for it because I don't mean being, letting someone pick on you or something like that. I don't mean that. Okay, I mean like for example, being willing to clean the toilet. Yeah, if that's what the job requires, like that. Okay, so um, all right. So what you need, okay, to get a job. And this is for your first job. If you want to move from one to another, you need these qualities. Okay, you need these qualities. Now, my advice to you, okay, and actually in terms of, okay, let me take a step back first. Why get a job? Let me explain that, and then I can explain like how to get one. So when it comes to the question of why get a job, what you need to understand is how does money actually work? Okay, how does money actually work? And how does an economy actually work? Let me explain it to you as best I can in like a simple way, if I can. Okay. All right, look. If you imagine that this is a society. Okay, this is a society. What money basically is, okay, money is something that you can transfer from person to person. Let me go like this instead. All right. So say we have this. Okay, imagine this is like £10 or something. All right, here, let's do it like this. Okay, look, this is £10, yeah. All right. So, okay, so imagine this is £10. All right. Now, how does this £10 get made? Let's just say the bank prints this £10. Okay, I don't want to cover anything before that because I don't want to get too complicated. But let's just say this £10 exists. Okay. Now, this £10, it's in someone's bank account, say. Okay, now this person, they need things. Okay, they need things. Like they need to buy, say, um, they need to buy food, yeah. Like they need to Uber Eats. They want some food. They want food. Okay. So what do? They need food, right? Because we all need food. So what do? They take their £10, right? And they go and buy food. Yes. Who do they buy it from? They don't just think I need food and then put £10 in the sky and then food appears. That's not how it works. Yes. Who do they buy it from? They buy it from a restaurant or a food place. Yeah. They buy it from a restaurant or food place. Okay. McDonald's or something. Should I use this? They go to a food place. Okay, like a restaurant or something like that. Food place. So this could be like McDonald's. This could be some Popeyes or Nando's or whatever you guys are into. Yeah, they go to the food place and they say, "Listen, I need some chicken. I got some chicken. I need some chicken. All right, here, take my £10." And then they give the food place the £10. Okay, and then they get the food. Yes, they get the food. This is how it works, huh? So now they get paid. They pay the money and then they get the food like that. Okay, this is the customer. Now he's happy because he's got food. You see, you give the £10 to the place, he gets the food. Okay, now what happens to the £10? So now the £10 has been, now the £10 is in the food place. Okay, now the food place, they obviously they have, they got stuff to pay for. Okay, and let's just say they need to pay for like their, supplies for the chicken or they got electricity bills, things like that. Yeah. And so they take this £10 and they spend some of it on like bills, like this, bills. Okay. Now the thing about the bills is what? The thing about the bills is this is another what? Who do they pay the bills to? They don't just pay it to the sky. Who do they pay the bills to? They pay their bills to some, I don't know, electric company. You see? And now the electric company has a share of this £10. You see? Now the electric company has like £5, something like that, from this 10. So the money moves from the person to the food place to the electric company. Okay? And eventually, let's just say, uh, I'll move this way to make it a bit simple for you. And now, where do you come in? Okay, so this is how the money moves. Look, we have the person, they give it to the food place so they can buy food. And then the food place takes the money and they pay bills, which is an electric company. And now the electric company, they take this money, okay, and they are gonna do what with it? Not just gonna hold it or sit on it. What are they gonna do? They go ahead and they take it and they pay their worker. Huh? They pay their worker. This would be like you. Yeah. Pay worker. This is how money works. Okay. Now, of course, this is a very simplified, you know, version of it. But this is how money works. Okay. Money comes from a person. Okay. They spend it, means they transfer it to someone else. Okay. In return for something valuable. Okay. So this person now he gets to eat. So he gives his money and in return he gets food. Okay. And then the food place that made his food, which is what they got paid for. Yeah. So they earned the money in a good way. They got paid for doing a service. It's what we call a service, for providing a product, which is the food. They got paid to provide the service of making the food, and they got paid for providing the product of the food, which the person wanted. Now they take that money, okay, and they pay the electric company for providing the product of the electricity. Yes, obviously saving some of the money as profit, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. So they take the money, they take some of it, they give it to the electric company, okay, and in return, the electric company give them electricity. The electric company give them electricity. Okay, so now the food place can keep running. You understand? And now the electric company, they pay their worker, whoever. That's supposed to be a pound sign. They pay the worker. Okay, they pay the worker. Yeah. You see, so the money goes from the customer of the food place. Some of it goes to the electric company, and then some of this goes to the worker. That's how money works. Okay. And you can see at every stage, someone is getting paid for something that they provided. Okay. That's how money works when it's legal and ethical and all that. Okay. This is how it works. The guy gave his money so he could get food. Food place gives some of their money so that they can so they can keep the electricity and get electricity. And the electric company pays the worker so that they can keep the company running. That's how money works. Okay. So the rule when it comes to money is this. You get paid for providing value. That's the rule. Okay, this is the rule of money. If you want to make money, you need to understand this. Okay, you get paid for providing value. Okay, the more value you provide, the more money you make, obviously. Okay, the more value you provide, the more money you make. Okay, now again, I'm talking legally, ethically, not scamming people. Okay, not robbing people, not doing crypto scams. Good money, okay, money that will last forever. Money that your children can inherit and your grandchildren and all that. Good money, money you can be proud of. This is how it works. Alright. Okay, this is why, for example, doctors get paid a lot. I know that there's complaints and people are saying, this and that, but in general, doctors get paid more than people that work in a call center. Why? Because a doctor saves someone's life. And no disrespect to anyone that works in a call center, much respect to you. But just strictly logically speaking, doctors save people's lives. People that work in a call center, they help people with their phone bill, stuff like that. Yeah. And again, I'm not being disrespectful. Working in a call center is terrible. So much respect if that's what you do. Um, but the point is, the reason that the doctor gets paid more is because if the doctor disappears, people die. You see, because they provide this serious value. Same with the dentist, same with the lawyer, same with an engineer, and so on. Okay. Now, of course, you might be thinking, well, what about these people that do scamming or people that do like the stock stuff or whatever? Just forget about them yet. Don't think about them. Okay. Because When you make money the wrong way, the bad way, it burns hot, but it disappears fast, and it comes with a lot of problems. Okay. What we're talking about here is good money, money which will last for you, your children, your children's children, and so on. Pure money, good money. Okay. In Arabic, they call it tayyib, good, clean money. Eh. Money which you can be proud of. That's what we're talking about. Okay, that's what we want. We don't want fast, bad money. All right, which comes with a lot of problems. So this is the key. Okay, this is the key for both a job and also a business. You get paid for providing value. The more value you provide, the more money you make. And again, um, we're not trying to make millions. Say we're trying to pay our bills. That's our goal. Pay our bills. Okay. And if we make more on top of that, that's a blessing. That's a gift, which we're grateful for. Huh? Which we can save some, we can perhaps invest some, and we can use some for charity, helping people. Yes. But we're not greedy. Okay, so now you understand how money works. Now let's talk about a job. Why do I recommend job? Why am I not talking about business first? Even though I myself, excuse me, even though I myself have not worked a job in many years, and I myself make money from business activity. Why why do I recommend to get a job? I say this to you because 90%, okay, of people, this is how they make their money. Like this. From the job economy. That's how they make their money. This is how the whole world in general makes their money. Okay, people who own the business versus people who make money from job, it's most people work a job, some people do the business. Why? Is it because the job or the business people are greedy and exploitative and all that? No. Okay, some of them obviously are, but in general, no. The reason is, okay. The reason is, okay, very simple. Um, very simple, uh, conditions of reality. If I asked you, okay, to work at a food place, like to work at Nando's or to work at McDonald's or something, what do you need to work at a food place? You need these things, huh? You need job skills, you need experience, you need willingness to work very hard, willingness to learn, no arrogance. Okay, so someone that works hard, they do their job well, they focus. That's what you need. Yeah, and then you can do your job. Yeah, and you can get paid, right? What does the person who owns the McDonald's or owns the Nando's or owns the local restaurant, what do they need to start their restaurant or to keep it running? What do they need? They need start up capital, which means they need to go to the bank and get a loan, which means now they're in debt. Okay, and it could be a lot of debt. It could be in 100k debt, 200k debt. Some people in a million debt. Eh, they take the risk, big risk. If their business fails, they must pay this debt. Yeah, or face bankruptcy or face some other big consequences. If the business fails, the worker who works in in the what's it called, in the food place. If you imagine that this is like the boss, just like this. Imagine like this is like the owner up here. Because this is also the business person. And these are like the workers. Okay, so you have the owner, Okay, who owns the business, and these are the workers. And oftentimes this is seen as or described as like an exploitative relationship. In other words, the owner takes advantage of the workers. He's greedy, he's this and that. Okay, the reason why he makes more money or she makes more money is because the amount of risk that they take. Okay, this is why. The owner takes all the risk or most of the risk. The workers take none or very little. Okay, if this business faces bankruptcy because customers stop coming and paying their money, the owner has to sell his house or the owner has to go get another bank loan, become more in debt. The owner has to make certain deals. The owner has to try and find a way to make it happen. Okay, the worker just has to come to work. Yeah, it doesn't matter if the business shuts down, they can go get a different job. They're not in debt, you see. If I have a t-shirt company, okay, and I went and got a loan for startup capital to buy my t-shirts, and no one buys my t-shirts from me, now I'm 2k in debt, say if it's like a small business. Now I'm 2k in debt that I owe the bank, and they want their money. You see, or I need to close my company down, and now I have a bad business history, and now other businesses might not work with me. But the guy that I was working with who just printed my t-shirts for me and I paid him, a wage to do it, he's not in debt at all. He's not gonna now, I'm not now gonna say to him, listen, the bank wants money, can you help me? That'd be wrong, right? Because he's just a worker for me. You see, I'm in debt. I took the risk. I tried to make the business happen, and now I'm in debt. This is why the owner makes more money. You see, it's not because they're exploiting someone, it's because they take the risk. They put extra time in. And this is also again why I'm telling you to get a job. Okay, don't do a business. At least not when you're young yet. Don't do a business. Because to start a business, you need to work literally every single day for like for me, for example, yeah, I don't have days off, like a set day off. Like I'm gonna take this day off or that day off, Saturday, Sunday, or holidays, or it's like I work. Today is another day I'm working. Yeah, and then I have to force myself to take a day off or 2 days off or whatever. That's what business life is like. Okay. So don't do that. Yeah. Basically go ahead and get yourself a job and then you can get steady income without all the headache, without all the having to worry about, you know, the business and the company and being in debt and all this. Yeah. Just go ahead and find yourself a job. Okay. Now the other reason why I say to you get a job, I recommend it. The other reason why I recommend you getting a job, okay, is because a job will teach you many useful things. Yeah, and I've had jobs in the past, but okay, forget about that. Just a job will teach you many useful things. I was gonna say it's just the job is not for me yet. I know this to be true, but in any case, a job will teach you many useful things. And if you're young, I would say you shouldn't think about this in this way. A job is not for me or for just go get a job. That's like what you need to do. The reason is, for example, a job will teach you how to be punctual. It will teach you timekeeping. Okay. It will make you wake up early, go to sleep at a certain time, be accountable in terms of being places on time, being early, working hard. It will teach you a lot of good skills, which is good as an adult. Okay. A job will also make you grow in terms of your skills in general. You'll learn how to use a till, for example, or you'll learn how to, count money, or you'll learn how to clean things or cook things, or you'll learn things. And also you'll learn how to interact with other people. You'll meet some good people, some bad people. You'll meet all different kinds of people. Okay, which is also good for you. All right. And a job will also help you to be humble, to not be arrogant. Okay, now again, I don't mean this in terms of allowing yourself to get bullied. Of course not. I don't mean that. But for example, when I was younger, I worked in a place like an entertainment kind of place. Okay. like an arcade kind of place. Yeah. And one of my jobs in this place was to clean the toilets. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever done. To literally clean it, it was nasty, nasty. But doing this, okay, really showed myself that I have it in me to do whatever it takes, okay, to make good, clean money. Yeah, I wasn't above this job, you see. Yeah, it's good for you. It's good for your character. It stops you from being arrogant. Yeah. Um. So I can't really say enough good things about the job. I just really recommend it. And also the money is steady. The money is good, especially if you live in like a Western nation. The money is going to be good. Okay. Minimum wage is like I don't know what it is, £10 something. I'm not sure, but it's a lot. Yeah, especially if you're young, it's a lot. You can stack it. You can save. Again, especially if you start young. You know, if you get a job now, whatever it is, just take whatever job that you can, as long as it's like legit and legal, and not like it's not like a shady company or something. Morrison's or Asda or whatever kind of job you can get, Lidl or McDonald's, whatever. If you can get a job now or cleaning or something, you get a job now, okay, and you're 17, 18. Yeah. Um, if you save your money, okay, you don't spend it, you save your money like you should, and you're making minimum wage, it's very realistic. By the time you're like 20, let's say 25, by the time you're 25, you could have 10k saved easy. Yeah, 10k. Imagine you had 10k in your bank. That'd be nice, huh? Saved. Yeah, and then if you want to do something else, you can. But the point is, okay, it's a very solid, reliable way to make money, which is why most people they do it. Okay, most people do not run a business, etc. So that would be my advice to you. Okay, go and get a job. Okay, and when you're first beginning and you don't have any experience, you don't have any whatever qualities and qualifications, you must just get a job anywhere you can. Okay, part time if you have to, but anywhere that you can. Like I said, I myself I worked at like a arcade kind of place. I worked at a couple of different places. So anywhere you can to build up, to begin building your CV, and then you move on from there. Okay. Now, ideally, what you want to do, okay, besides working just any job, is you want to ideally begin to figure out, and this is how you turn your job into a career. You want to ideally figure out what your actual talent is. Okay, what your talent and interests are. Okay. And this is also how you basically know what kind of business you should start by this. So, what you want to do, okay, what you want to do is you want to figure out what your interests are and what your talents are. Now, there's a very nice um Japanese idea. I forget the name of it. I don't know if it's Ikigai or something. I forget the name of it, but there's an idea, okay, that what you want to do is you want to find the thing which intersects a couple different lines. Okay. And what these are number one, what are you interested in? Okay, you want this. What are you interested in? That's one. Number two is what are you naturally good at? That's number two. Okay, what are you interested in? Number one. What are you naturally good at? Number two, what do other people need? Okay, what do other people need? So what does the world need? Mm. This would be like food, this would be like electricity, etc. What do other people need? Okay, what can you give them? This would be like the last one. Yeah. So if you find the thing which intersects these, in other words, the thing which is in the middle of these, okay, then you will find what they call like your passion or your career or your what you should do. Yeah, that's what you call a career. Okay. Now, to begin with, just try and figure out some of them. Try and figure out what you're interested in, what you're naturally good at. And if you're young, it's going to take you some time to figure these things out because obviously you're young, yeah. So it might take you time, yeah. But this is another good thing of why having a job is good because it'll help you to see these things. Yeah, it'll help to pull them out. So try and figure these things out. Okay, and then you want to aim at whatever is at the center of them. Like example, you're interested in science. You're interested in helping people. You're naturally caring. You're naturally good at helping people. You're naturally detail oriented. Okay. There's two. What do people need? They need help with their health. Huh? What can you give them? You can become a doctor or a nurse or a dentist or something in the medical field. You see? Something in the medical field. You're naturally interested in mechanics or mechanisms and machines and things like that. You're interested in um, physics. You're interested in math. You're naturally good at physics, math, building things. Well, maybe you're an engineer or a carpenter or a mechanic who fixes cars or an aerospace mechanic who fixes planes. Like that. You see? Like that. People need help with their cars and stuff. You see? This is how you do it. Okay, now you have a career, not just a job. Hmm? This is how you move from like working in, you know, a lot of random places to working in a career where you progress. Like for me, for example, this would be where you're interested in teaching, being a mentor, sharing wisdom or knowledge, which I gather, helping people, helping people, especially helping young people or vulnerable people. What are you naturally good at? Teaching, speaking, breaking down complicated subjects, studying, thinking. Okay, so what am I? I'm a philosopher, I'm a writer, I'm a teacher. What should I do? I should, if I was going to take the job route, go teach in school or become a college teacher or university teacher or a lecturer in something or a youth group leader or the, for me like I take that and I make videos for you guys. Now I don't get paid from these videos, but it's like part of who I am and what I do. You see, that's what I mean. Okay, that's what I mean. So that's how you get a career. All right, from this. Now, finally, the last thing that I want to talk about is how do you start a business? I don't want to get into too much detail because, again, like I say, I wouldn't recommend that most of you start a business. I would not recommend most of you to start a business. Okay. At least not as your primary income source. And the reason, again, but why I say that is because as hard as getting a job is or having a job is, a business is 100 times harder. Literally 100 times harder. Okay. To get a business off the ground is extremely difficult. And I don't say this to discourage you, if any of you want to start a business. If you really feel it in your heart that you should, then do it. Okay, do it. So I don't want to discourage you, but I'm just giving you the reality of it. Right. Now, if you're gonna start a business, okay, and I have started many businesses, okay, bunch of them didn't work. Some of them did. Um, That's how I make my money. I don't make money from working in a job. And the reason for that is because now I'm at the age where I know myself fully. Okay, and I've had jobs so that I've tested this. Okay. It's not just you know, thought or something. And again, having a business is not better than having a job. Okay, they're not like, if you do one, you're bad. If you do one, you're good. It's just different. All right. So, um, if I could simplify it for you, how do you start a business? Uh, I've written a book on this, but I don't wanna. I don't want you guys to buy it. All right. Let me just try and simplify it for you. The easiest way to start a business, and the way I'd recommend to you guys to do it, is to start a business, which is, if you're gonna do it, that is, start a business which is online, selling a digital product. Okay, if you're gonna do it, this is how you should do it. Okay, do it online, sell a digital product or service. Why? Why? Because it's free to run. It's almost free to run. It's very cheap. It's free to run, easy to start and run. Now I say easy, relatively speaking. Okay, it's easier, way easier than like doing a restaurant or something like that. No, it's not easy, obviously. You're gonna need to put in hours of work, hours and hours of work. Okay, to actually make it happen. You're gonna work. You're gonna work 5 times as much as if you had a job. Okay, literally, and you're gonna make half as much money, literally. Okay, so if you have a job, you'll make, 1 to 2K a month solid. You'll work, what's 80 hours? No, 8 times 5, 40 hours. You work 40 hours a week. If you have a job, you work 40 hours a week. You make 1.5 to 2K, depending on the pay, a month solid, and you can just chill out. That's if you have a job. If you do a business, you're gonna work 80 hours a week. 80 hours a week, so double. You're not gonna have days off, and you're gonna make half as much money. You're gonna make like 500 a month if you're good. If you're good. For a long time, for a year or 2 years, you might make, for the first 6 months, you make nothing. Okay, that's the reality of business. Now, if you still want to do it, then okay, maybe you might have a shot. But if you're thinking, I don't want to do that, I want to make money quick, it's not for you, my friend. Okay, business is a grind. It takes time. Okay, unless you're doing something illegal, then obviously, but that's self-destructive. So, what you want to do, because you want to sell an online product or service, not a scam, not a get rich quick something. Don't fall into, pyramid schemes or what do they call it, multi-level marketing schemes. Sell something, and again, remember our key principle, you get paid for providing value. So the more value you provide, the more money you make. Okay? So say for example, you are really good at math, something like that, yeah? You're good at math. You can become a math tutor. And now you can charge people like when you're beginning be £5 an hour, then £10 an hour, then 15, then 20, then 30 and so on. Like that. Hmm? That's a real digital service. You just teach them over Zoom. Like that. That's a real digital service. Okay. Or say, say you're good at writing, then you can start to publish your own books. Okay, and again, this is going to be tricky, it's going to be difficult, but as an example of a digital product which is legit, you start to write books. Or you can start to offer video editing services to people. Or you could try to make your own videos on certain topics and subjects, like video essays or whatever. So the key is you need to pick a product or service which provides value to people. Just ask yourself, what do people need? What do they need? Okay. And then and then what can you provide? What you're naturally good at? What can you provide? Okay. And then you base your business around that. Right. That's how you do it. Now, the smart thing to do would be to go get a job and then build your business on the side. That would be the intelligent thing to do. That's what I would recommend. Okay. And then that way your business is not your primary source of income. You can always have money coming in from your job while you build your business at the same time. Now, businesses to avoid, okay, businesses to avoid, which are just scams, pretty much. Anyone that says these words pretty much is trying to scam you. Pretty much is trying to scam you. What do they call multi-level marketing? There's another word for it. I don't know what the word for it is yet, but um, yeah, multi-level marketing. They have a way of talking about it, yeah, but sales. Now, some sales jobs can be like legit, but a lot of them are scammy. Let's just say. Okay, anyone that says these things to you, get rich fast. Easy money. Anything like this is pretty much a scam. Okay, anything like this is pretty much a scam. Pretty much. Okay. So avoid anyone or anything which says anything like this. Here. Pay me for the secrets to money. Anything like this is a scam. Okay. Pretty much. Like anyone who's actually making money will not ask you to pay them for them to tell you how to make money. Okay. Anyone who actually makes money from business and stuff like that, they're not gonna say pay me this much money and then I'll teach you the secrets of making money. Like that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Especially if you're like young, they'll likely want to tell you for free so then you can make money, right? So anything like this, avoid. Avoid. All right. Excuse me. Now, my only other advice for you in terms of a business is you really need to learn by doing. Okay, you need to learn by doing. And this is why I recommend a digital product or service because the risk in doing it is not high. You want to avoid any high risk business. Like for example, a business where you put a lot of money up front to then try and make money on the back end. You don't want to do that. Okay, because when you're starting your business, if it's your first business or second or something, you're gonna it's 90% chance that you're gonna make mistakes, obviously. 100% chance you're gonna make mistakes. Okay, it's not gonna be like perfect because you don't know what you're doing yet, obviously. Which is fine, yeah. You don't have to know what you're doing, obviously. It's fine. That's how you learn it, but you don't want to lose money. You want your mistakes to be free if they can be, or cheap. You don't want your mistakes to be expensive. Okay? So never buy stock that you hope to sell. Don't do that. Have people wanting to buy your stock first. Pre-orders. So say I'm doing a t-shirt company, okay? I don't buy the t-shirts first. I have the pre-orders first. So people pay me pre-order money, yeah, or a deposit or something, money first to guarantee that they're gonna buy the t-shirt. Then I order the stock. You see? So now if they cancel, now I have their deposit. So I don't lose as much. It's like the mistake gets lessened. Versus if I buy a bunch of stock and then I hope someone's gonna buy my t-shirts. Now if no one buys it, it's GG. Now I'm out of a lot of money. You see? You don't want to do that. That's a rookie mistake. You wanna make your mistakes cheap to make, never expensive. Which is why I recommend the digital product thing. Okay? So the way to do it, again, like I said, figure out what value you can provide, like actual value you can provide based on your talents, your interests, and all that. Become more highly skilled in these things, even go and get a job in the industry that you want to eventually turn into a business. Become good at it, great at it, and then provide the service. Okay, my final thing that I'll say to you guys is this. This will be my final thing. say if you want to make more than rich, yeah, more than what we said was rich, which was about paying your bills. If you want to become like a millionaire, etc. Yeah. Say you want to become a millionaire. Okay. Now, assuming you don't come from a rich family, like your parents aren't millionaires already, then the way you actually do it, okay, is by understanding something about the law of value, like we talked about before. So we said, remember that money moves to value, or money is exchanged for value. Yeah, we said that before. And we said that you get paid more for providing more value. Yes. So what this means, okay, is if you want to make millions, and again, make sure if you want to make millions that your heart is in the right place. You want to do it because not just you want to be selfish and buy a lot of stuff with it, but you want to do it because you want to help people. You want to spend on helping the poor, or you want to help lift your family and grandchildren all that out of poverty, or you want to, you have a noble mission behind it. Don't just do it because you want to buy a Ferrari or something. It's empty. Yeah. Like we said before, do it because you want to help the world in some way. Hmm? So if you have this drive and ideal and desire inside you, excuse me, the way that you do it, okay, the way that you actually make uh, this much money is um, to understand this. If we ask the question, like we mentioned before about doctors, why do doctors get paid more than someone that works in a call center? Why? Well, we said already that doctors provide a lot of value, right? They save lives, which is a higher value than helping people with their bills. Yes. Again, that's not to disrespect people that work in a call center. I'm just saying it's more important to save people's lives than to help people with their bills, obviously. Everyone will agree to that, right? So this is why doctors get paid more. Yes. Okay, now when you think about doctors, if this is a pyramid of all doctors that are alive in the world, um, of these doctors, how many of them would you say is like a doctor, like a GP, like a normal doctor? Probably the majority, right? Excuse me. This would be like a GP, yeah, normal doctor. Now, again, this is not to say that they're bad. It's not to put them at. The pyramid is not about. The pyramid is not scale of importance. It's just amount. We're talking numbers here. Okay, it's not scale of importance. So, and just like I said before as well about no job is unimportant. Okay, I'm talking literally just about numbers. Okay, numbers and um, objective kind of measurement. We're not talking about actual importance in terms of value or worth, human worth, and all that. Okay, a doctor and a call center worker in terms of intrinsic worth are the same. They're both human, obviously. It's just that one saves lives, which means we need to pay them more to recognize that importance. And one helps people with bills, so we still pay them because it's important. But doctor, we need to make sure that they are paid more, right? It's fair. Now, of the doctors in the world, the amount that are like normal, meaning they're like a GP, yeah, they do like general things. That's the majority, right? The vast majority are this. So they get paid. I don't know how much they get paid, but I'm gonna guess, yeah. They get paid like, let me say, 70 to 100K, something like that, yeah. I'm guessing. They get paid, say, 70K to 100K, something like that. Okay, and again, I could be off, by some amount, but let's just say this so much they get paid. because they are an everyday family kind of doctor, something like that, right? Now, of the doctors in the world, if we said, how many are like specialists? So say like a normal GP might do checkups. They might, check your teeth or check your breathing or do your blood pressure and all that, and then, recommend you certain medicines or whatever. How many of how many doctors in the world are like specialists? Means like they're an expert when it comes to hands or lungs or heart or blood or something. Well, the specialists obviously are going to be a smaller amount. Okay, specialists are going to be smaller amount. Okay, and what I'm saying here, this applies not just to job and career, but also to business. Okay, so it's important that you pay attention. Okay, specialists, it's going to be less. Why? Because it takes longer to train, more skills, and so on. It's less. And because it's less, it means they are more rare. Because there's fewer of them. And because there's fewer of them, it means that they can demand a higher wage. This is another thing. This is a law of rarity or law of specializing, something like that. If there's less of you, you can demand more. Yeah. Like if there's only one engineer in the country, he can demand whatever price he wants. Why? Because there's only one of him. So every company needs him. He has all the leverage, what you call leverage. This is why you want to get good at your job as best you can. Yeah, at your skills. You want to get good at a skill which is always needed, like engineering or being a doctor or dentist or lawyer or whatever. Some skill which is always needed. You want to get really good at it, and then you can have leverage. Means when, for example, say I went back into the job world and I went to a school and they say to me, okay, listen, we want to offer you a certain wage. What do you want? I can say to them, listen, there's a lot of teachers, but there's very few who have taught the entire curriculum, turned it into a video series, who have taught essentially all of the Scottish texts, turned it into a video series, who have taught many of the essay texts, the classics in literature, who have extensive experience with teaching students of all kinds, who crafted an entire curriculum from scratch, published a textbook, and all of that. Yeah, I could lay out the different things that I've done for you guys. And now I'm not the same as just like a normal teacher. Yeah, and much respect again to every teacher. Yeah. I'm not better than them, but I'm saying in terms of skills and experience and all that, there's very few of me. I, there might be like maybe five other people like me in the entirety of Scotland. I don't even know yet. I don't know anyone like myself at all. So now I can demand a very high wage, you see, because it's difficult to replace me. I can go to another school. There's more schools than there are me, or more universities than there are me, more colleges than there are me. So I can pick. This is the benefit of being highly skilled or highly experienced or whatever. You get to have the leverage. So these doctors who are specialists in this and that, because they are the minority and people really need them, a heart specialist or brain specialist or lung specialist, now they can charge 500k. They can get paid like 500k, you see? It's a big difference. Big difference. Why? Because there's fewer of them. So they can charge what they want. Hmm? Just like that. Excuse me. Just like that. You see? So already these people would be considered, very wealthy. Yes. And now we can take an even higher step. Okay, which is to say, of the specialists, how many of them are world experts? Meaning They've published papers on this subject. They've done experimental research, which is, contribute greatly to the subject. They are like the experts among the experts. How many of them are there? There might be like 1,000 of them in the world, right? Very few amount. And so these people, this is where you want to be. Yeah, if you wanted to aim at something, these people provide the most value in their subject. The most. Okay, these people provide the most value in their subject. They are the world experts. You see, and because there's fewer of them than the others, they can charge whatever they want. Yeah, they can charge whatever they want. So these people make 1 million plus. Yeah, 1 million plus. It's like 5 million, maybe even more. That's world expert. This how it works. Okay. So like technically speaking, for me, I would be like in this category, at least when it comes to um, say when it comes to like English or something like that. I would be in that top category. Like, I literally don't know anyone like myself. Like literally, in terms of contribution, in terms of what I've done, etc. Yeah, I don't know anyone who's like me. So yes, so like that. Yeah. So and this works for job. It also works for business. You see, I literally could charge someone £100 an hour to teach them if I wanted to, and some people would pay it literally because I could teach them the entire course for their English in a day, which I've done before. Not for £100, but just because someone needed it. You see. So, and you want to be there for every kind of, um, and eventually I'll get there for philosophy and my other interests. I wouldn't say that I'm there yet, but for writing, I am, for publishing books, I might be close. I don't know. But anyway, the point is, okay, this is how it works. You see, it's not like unfair. It's not like, some rigged game or something. It works like this. Okay, if you have value to provide, which people need, the more expertise you gain in that thing, the more you get paid because you have more leverage. Okay, it's the difference between, excuse me, excuse me, take like a corporation, like a company, the person who just started working there, who doesn't know anything, they can be easily replaced with someone else. But the manager or the regional manager who's been there for 20 years, it's hard to replace them right? Because they know a lot of stuff and they're skilled and they're experienced. So the new person, if they were to try to get a new job, it's difficult for them, right? Because companies have a lot of choice. The company has the leverage, rightly so, yeah, because there's more people than there is companies, so it's fair. But as the person grows in skill and experience, now they get the leverage. So the regional manager, he could, if he feels he's being mistreated in his work, he could tell his workplace, listen, you guys are not treating me nice. I'm gonna go to our competitor. So it's up to you. You need to change, or I'm gonna go. And they will need to change, or they're gonna lose him. Yeah. So that's how money works. Okay? That's how money works. And again, I would advise you very much, just to sum up this advice, just to summarize this advice for you. To summarize this advice for you, what I'd say to you guys, okay, is again, listen, you don't need millions. You don't even need hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands. All you need is enough money to pay your bills, which realistically is around, depending on how you live, who you live with, if you have flatmates or whatever, or you live with your family, it's around 1 to 2K a month. That's all you need, realistically. Until you get older and you have children and things like this, then it might be a bit more. Okay. But aim at that. Aim at that. Okay. And then learn to be content. Learn to have contentment. Learn to have contentment. To be content. To be grateful. Okay. And try and put most of your effort and focus on being a good person. hmm And then that is going to be enough for you. Okay. Then you can feel rich. You can feel as rich as the king. Yeah. Without having the same number in your bank account. Because truthfully speaking, you're the same. You're the same. Yeah. You don't need all these extra stuff. Okay. So there's my advice on how to make money. So I'd recommend as soon as you can. Okay, wait, let me stop. I'd recommend actually one more thing. When you're young, try to enjoy your life. Okay, don't focus on money. Don't focus on these things. Try to have fun. Try to just play around. Enjoy your life. Try to focus on becoming a good person. That's your number one thing. And then when you get to 19, 20, 18, then okay, you can go and get a part-time job and like that. Okay, but don't make money your focus. Don't make it your master. Okay, that's a very bad idea. Money is a money is an excellent slave, a terrible master. Money is an excellent slave, but a terrible master. Keep money in your hand, never in your heart. Okay, keep money in your hand, never in your heart. Okay, and that's it. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. Good luck.